This happened just outside Ballard, Utah, only a few miles from Skinwalker Ranch, a place where people don't joke about what they've seen, where the locals don't warn you for entertainment. They warn you because they mean it. I was working a fencing job out in that desert. The rancher gave me one rule, just one: don't stay past dark. He didn't explain. He didn't need to. But winter days are short, and I needed the hours. So when the sun slid behind the ridge, I kept working. The silence hit first. Not normal quiet. Not the kind you expect in the desert. This was the kind that feels like the whole world is holding its breath. My headlamp carved a pale tunnel through the sagebrush. Every crunch of my boots felt too sharp, too loud, like sound didn't belong there. Then, footsteps. Fast. Behind me. Running. I froze. Turned slowly. The sound stopped instantly, like whoever made it didn't want to be seen. My light swept across the ridge and caught on a shape. Tall, thin, still. For a moment, I told myself it was a dead tree, but the longer I stared, the more certain I became. It was staring back. I clicked off my headlamp. Moonlight filled the ridge in cold silver, and the silhouette shifted. Slowly. Unnaturally. Every instinct whispered the same thing. Back away. Slowly. So I did, step by step, breathing as quietly as I could. When I reached my truck, I climbed in fast, locked the doors, and flicked on the headlights. It wasn't on the ridge anymore. It was in the field, crouched low, limbs bent in ways they shouldn't bend, neck dangling at an angle no person could hold, head tilted, studying me. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. Then its mouth opened, and my own voice came out. Help! Hey! Help me! Repeating, glitching, struggling to mimic me. A cold wave rolled through my chest. I shifted into reverse and tore back down the dirt road, bouncing so hard my teeth rattled. I kept my eyes on it the whole time, but the thing didn't chase, didn't even flinch. It only watched, head twisting to follow the truck as I backed away into the dark. The next morning, I returned with the landowner. I needed someone else to see something, anything, but the ground was untouched. No prints, no disturbed brush, nothing. He stared at the ridge for a long time before saying, quietly, if it ran at you and stopped when you looked, you're lucky you only saw it once. I've worked alone in a lot of remote places, never been easily rattled, but since that night, I don't stay out after dark, not near that ridge, not anywhere close to Skinwalker Ranch. And some nights, when the world goes silent, I swear I still hear that voice, my voice, calling for help. My name's Riley. I'm a 25-year-old woman, and up until recently, I used to camp alone in the Colorado Rockies all the time. I loved it. The quiet, the freedom, the way the mountains made everything feel small and simple. I don't feel that way anymore. I was hiking up toward a little creek clearing I'd scouted the week before. Perfect trees for my hammock. Nobody around for miles. It was supposed to be a reset trip. About 2 miles in, I saw him. A man stood in the middle of the trail with his back to me, completely still, not moving, not adjusting anything, just standing there like he'd shut off. When he finally turned, something in me clenched. He wasn't carrying a pack, no water, no jacket, just thin clothes and a smile that felt wrong. "You hiking up for the night?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "You heading down?" He waited way too long before answering. "Down." He didn't step aside. I had to brush past him, his shoulder cold against mine. I kept walking, but I could feel him staring long after the trail curved away. I told myself it was nothing, There are weird hikers sometimes. Just keep moving. I reached my spot before dark, hung the hammock, pitched the tarp, boiled some water, but the silence didn't feel peaceful this time. It felt heavy, like something was waiting. Around midnight, I woke up to footsteps. Slow, heavy, human footsteps. They stopped directly beneath my hammock. My hammock swayed, just slightly, just enough to tell me someone was standing right under me. I clicked on my headlamp and aimed it down. A tall figure stepped backward, just out of the light, watching. I couldn't breathe. Then, right next to my head, inches from the fabric, I heard, "Riley." My name. My actual name. I hadn't told him my name. Not on the trail, not anywhere. I ripped the bug net open, dropped out of the hammock, and ran. Barefoot. No pack, no gear. I left everything hanging between those trees. The trail was almost pitch black. My headlamp shook violently as I sprinted downhill, heart slamming against my ribs. Every few seconds, I swore I heard footsteps behind me, a twig snapping, a breath, a whisper of my name carried on the wind. But I didn't stop. I couldn't. If I stopped, I knew he'd catch up. Branches tore at my arms. I slipped on loose rock and hit the ground hard, but I scrambled back up and kept running. The trail vanished more than once, and I just ran blind until I found it again. By the time I burst into the trailhead parking lot, dawn was breaking. My car was the only one there. I locked myself inside and sobbed until I couldn't breathe. I never went back for my hammock or my gear. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't report it. I just left. And the part I can't escape is this. He told me he was heading down, but he found my campsite in the dark, without a pack, without a light, hours after I got there. And somehow, he knew my name. I don't camp alone anymore. Not in Colorado, not anywhere. You don't understand how truly empty northern Arizona is until you're out there alone. No engines, no power lines, no fences, just red dirt, dark pines, and a silence so thick it presses against your ears. I've been backpacking solo for 3 days, deeper into the backcountry than I'd ever gone. I like solitude. I like feeling small. That part of Arizona gives you exactly that. Silence so wide it feels like it belongs to something. On the third night, I made camp in a clearing surrounded by tall ponderosas. The sun dropped behind the ridge faster than I expected, pulling the warmth away with it. By the time I zipped myself into the tent, the forest had gone completely still. I lay there in my sleeping bag, listening to the branches tick lightly overhead. I wasn't scared. I've camped around bears, elk, even heard a mountain lion scream once. The wilderness never bothered me. But something felt off that night. I can't explain it, just a pressure in the air, like my instincts knew something my mind didn't. I drifted in and out of sleep until after midnight, when I woke up suddenly. No dream, no sound, just a cold jolt through my body telling me something was wrong. I held still, listening. The woods were dead silent. No crickets, no wind. Then, very soft, I heard a crunch, a footstep. My breath caught. The steps were slow, heavy, uneven. Something was walking toward the tent. 4 steps. Stop. 3 more. Stop. Then something brushed the side of the tent. Not like an animal bumping it. Taller. A dragging pressure sliding down the fabric, almost like fingers tracing the nylon. I pressed myself flat, barely daring to breathe. Then came the sound, the softest exhale, Not human, not animal. Something in between. Something wrong. The shadow outside blocked the faint moonlight, looming over me. It didn't move, just stood there, listening, breathing. Minutes dragged by, so long my muscles started to shake. Then the footsteps resumed. They were different now, fast, bounding, switching between 2 legs and 4 in a jagged, unnatural rhythm. It circled the clearing, then stopped directly behind me. I heard it breathing again, quicker this time, almost excited. But it didn't touch the tent again. And then, silence. I didn't sleep, not for a second. I lay there until the sky finally brightened with dawn. When I unzipped the tent, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip the zipper. Outside, everything looked normal. The clearing, the trees, nothing out of place. But something had been there. While packing up, I noticed a ponderosa tree about 10 feet from my tent. 4 deep gouges ran straight down the bark, fresh, sharp, spaced too wide for a hand, too uneven for an animal claw. I didn't stay to analyze them. I hiked out, 13 miles without stopping, never looking behind me because I didn't want to see anything there. That was the last time I ever backpacked alone. And when people ask me why, I just say the same thing every time. Out there, things don't find you by accident.